Hello everyone, this is part 5 of What If Naruto Was the Hollow God, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Naruto, Fu and Juvia walked through that waterway entrance on the west side of the Land of Whirlpools. As they were walking, they looked around at the scenery, and all were amazed at how the place looks like. Naruto looked at the place and remembered how only 2 years ago, the place was a ruin, but now, it looks like a perfect place for someone to live a life in peace. The entrance to the hidden whirlpool is on the western side of the island, toward the Land of Fire. As he was walking, Naruto saw that on the both sides of the entrance, there are empty fields, which he guesses are used for agriculture. On the north side of the whirlpool, and right above the fields, there is a small part of the island which is covered in the small trees, which looked like they had just planted there a little over a year ago. Right now, that part of the island doesn't look like much, but eventually, those trees would grow, and a forest will rise, giving people a place to walk and relax without actually leaving the security of the village. At the lowest part of the island, which is located between the fields, the future forest, the waterway and the tall wall in the middle of the island, which leads to the upper level of the island, there is a part of the village which is completely covered in houses and from what Naruto and his two companions could see, some shops as well. Naruto looked toward the center of the island, and saw that there is a path, which leads upwards from the lower lever of the island, to the upper level. The upper level of the island is the remaining portion of the island, and the same place where the Azuchage Tower used to be, along with its surrounding area. Naruto noticed that, unlike the lower parts of the village, the upper level is still as barren as it used to be after everything was demolished and the debris were removed from the island. He isn't surprised by that, though. Even as much as it was done in rebuilding the whirlpool, it was more than he thought would be done in just 2 years, so he was sure that the upper parts will be built very soon. Of course, from the plans which were made before he left the village, the upper levels were supposed to be where the Azukage's new tower will be, along with the Ninja Academy and all the other shinobi-related stuff, while the lower part of the village will be for civilians. Just like Naruto, Fu and Juvia were also amazed by the way the village looks like, especially since they knew that the place was destroyed decades ago, and no one has lived there ever since. As the two were walking behind Naruto, they thought that they have made a right decision in joining Naruto. Well, Juvia made the right decision, Fu simply didn't have a choice. She would either accept Naruto's offer, or potentially suffer and then die. When they arrived at the bay, Naruto, Juvia and Fu saw Tayuya, Taya and Isaribi. Tayuya has changed quite a bit since he last saw her. She no longer wears the cloths he gave her, but instead, she now wears dark red, shinobi-style pants, with bandages wrapped around the bottom of the pants. On her feet, she wears sandals, with open front part, showing her toes. On her upper body, she wears a chainmail shirt, above which she has a dark red jacket which she wears opened, showing her bulging breasts, which have grown quite a bit in the last 2 years. Tayuya has also changed her hairstyle, as she no longer has her hair tied in pigtails, but instead in a high ponytail. Her beautiful face is no longer covered by Oni mask which she started to wear so that no one would recognize her and inform Orochimaru. She has grown quite a bit as well. If Naruto was to guess, he would say that she is about 10 centimeters taller and a little bit heavier, just enough to match her new height. The last thing Naruto noticed about her is that she no longer has a sword he gave her, which means that she probably stopped using it sometime after she awakened her special hollow powers, which, by the way, Naruto still doesn't know what they are. Naruto did notice a weapon pouch on her right thigh, was surprised by this, as he didn't think that Tayuya was use kunai and shuriken now that she has hollow powers, though, she might be using it for something else. He decided to ask her about that later. Just like Tayuya, Taya has also changed, though not as much as Tayuya. Taya's hairstyle is mostly the same, but her uniform is completely different. She is now wearing something resembling a royal uniform. She has long white boots, which go to above her knees, under which, she has black stockings which are going a little higher than the boots. She wears a very short skirt on her lower body, while on her upper body, she has white, long-sleeved jacket, with golden buttons, and golden edges. Her color and the plates on her shoulders are gold and black. Finally, she has white gloves, on both of her hands and her old sword, strapped to her left side. All in all, she looks hot, but also gives of the air of authority, making everyone feel like that they shouldn't mess with her. Look up Scorhichik Stella, and that's how Taya looks like. And finally, there is Isaribi. If anyone has changed since the last time Naruto saw them, then that would be Isaribi. What used to be a 25-year-old girl who looked like she is around 16 or 17 years old, now looks much closer to her age. I don't think I'll be able to describe her very well, so just look up the picture, Isaribi Gaiden, by Zeth3047, on DeviantArt. I based her look on that picture. The only changes compared to the picture are that, in this story, Isaribi has no bandages around her forehead, and on her leg. She also doesn't have leaf Hitai 8 around her neck, like she does on the picture. That tattoo on her face is gone as well, and finally, both the sleeves on her dress are gone. Well, would you look at that, Tayuya said with a smirk on her face. Look who has finally decided to show his face after 2 years of being gone. Lilinet, Naruto scowled when he heard Tayuya's words. Still as insufferable as ever. Now it was Tayuya's time to scowl. Don't give me that shit, she growled. Where were you all this time? Couldn't you come back here a few times? I left a blood clone here to take care of all business, with you as his right hand, Naruto said. I didn't see any reason to come back earlier. Tayuya frowned. It's no fun to mess with a clone, she said, getting raised eyebrows from everyone there, no matter how good that clone is. So the only reason you wanted me back is so that you can annoy me, right? Naruto questioned. Of course, Tayuya said. Why else would I want you back? Now, Naruto was tempted to mess with her, for a change, but that stuff is simply not in his nature, so he let it go, for now. He will pay her back for messing with him, one way or another. Naruto then went and introduced Juvia and Fu to the other girls, before he sent the two of them with Isaribi, to do some sightseeing under Isaribi's guide. Tayuya and Taya stayed with him, as he wanted to talk to them about the village and about the things he did since he left, 2 years ago. XXX. As Naruto, Tayuya and Taya were walking around the lower level of the partly rebuilt the whirlpool, Naruto said. Okay, why don't you fill me in on everything that's been going on here since I left? Since she was basically the second in command, Tayuya decided to speak. Okay, well, after you left, we spent about half a month, cleaning up everything, along with burying the dead from all over the island. We also demolished the ruins of the capital and all the villages, after which, we planted the trees on those locations, so that they wouldn't be bare, since we won't be building anything on those locations. Naruto nodded, but then asked. How did you do that so quickly? Shadow clones. Tayuya stated, and Naruto nodded once again, remembering that he can do that, and so his blood clone can do it as well. Once the cleanup was finished, Tayuya started speaking again. We went over the money you left, to see how much there is, and to see how much we can use of it for the building, and still have enough for food and other essentials. We saw that there is going to be enough to last us a while for all the necessities, but we would run short if we start the construction. On top of that, we had barely any knowledge in construction, and what we knew was only enough to fix some of the ruins, so that we can live in. I forgot to mention, but after the cleanup, the houses we used to live in at that point, were left standing, until we can build new ones. Anyway, seeing that we will have a problem with construction, and since we didn't know if you would be able to find someone, your blood clone sent Taya and Sasam to your other blood clones in the lands of rivers, birds and vegetables. Their mission was to find some people who can do the construction with the limited money we had. They sent many workers and architects, who came here, checked the place, then we made plans on the design of the whole village, where will be what, after which, the preparation on the material started. It was decided that the houses will be built using wood and processed rock. The houses will be cube-like buildings, built side by side. Since we had wood and rock in abundance here on the island, we saved a whole lot of money on the building material, and the stuff we couldn't find here, we had shipped from the rivers, birds and vegetables, all free of charge, of course. When the construction started, it started with the houses and shops at the lower level of the village, and when we advanced far enough into the construction, one part of the building crew started working on the harbor. Of course, the civilians and the members of the Fuma clan worked as well, mostly as simple workers, but some of them were tasked to start working the ground on both sides of the entrance, where we would be growing food of our own. We just had to ship in everything necessary for that, along with the seeds which would be planted. By growing our food, we saved a lot of money, as we didn't have to pay for it to be delivered. From there, Taya decided to continue with the explanation. The construction was progressing well, and when the new people you sent started showing up, they quickly started helping with everything they could, Taya said. The money you sent, with Sako when you sent her back here, was of big help, because even with the amount of money we saved on the building material, the construction workers and the food, we were still running near the end of it and we couldn't ask your blood clones in the rivers, birds and vegetables to send us some, as that would mean bleeding those countries dry. They already did a lot by sending us what they did, and paying for the workers that they sent. Luckily, by then, which was about a year ago, those 2 gold mines you got your hands on, have started producing a lot of gold, which meant that from then on, we didn't have to be worried about the money running short. From then on, while the construction workers were doing the job, and while the civilians were doing the job, we could focus on improving our skills, which we didn't have a lot of time to do until then. And how did that go? Naruto asked. Very well, Tayuya decided to say. We have all become much stronger, and that includes the members of the Fuma clan, and the remnants of all those other clans you sent our way. Your blood clone has been learning all the Fuinjutsu I knew, as well as the ones from the book and scrolls you sent with Sako. I got to admit, you really have talent for Fuinjutsu. I mean, your blood clone was sucking in everything like a sponge. It was ridiculous. I've never seen someone learn Fuinjutsu as fast as you. Naruto smiled at this. Well, what can I say? I'm a really smart guy. One part of me was a scientist in Huko Mundo. Tayuya and Taya cast a glance at Naruto after they heard him praise himself. You have some ego there, don't you? Tayuya asked in a dry tone of voice, causing Naruto to laugh. Once he stopped laughing, Naruto asked. So, was my blood clone able to get past that barrier? He didn't try, Taya asked, getting raised eyebrows from Naruto. Why? He asked. Well, he decided that the original should do it, Taya said. So, we waited for you to come back, and then you can go and see if you can break that barrier. Okay, Naruto said. What else can you tell me? Well, we already told you that everyone who has had a ninja training has been training themselves to improve, Taya said. The only thing left is that the upper level of the whirlpool was left bare, since the construction of that part was left for later. Naruto nodded. Have those architects designed the Azukage's new tower? He asked. Yeah, about that, Tayuya started to say, drawing a look from Naruto. XXX. Naruto, Taya and Tayuya walked into the underground level of the former Azukage tower. The former tower has been taken down, but the level below ground is left standing, as it is the only way to get to the stairway to the vault which is on the second level below the ground. The first level also has several rooms, which Naruto's blood clone has been using as a storage, and the place to stay for the last 2 years. His closest companions have also been staying there with him. As the 3 of them entered into the council chamber, which is now an office for the blood clone, Naruto saw his blood clone seating behind the desk, looking over some scrolls. Oh ho, so you have finally decided to come, the blood clone said. I almost thought that you were going to leave me here forever. What makes you think I won't? Naruto asked cheekily, making the blood clone narrow his eyes. Don't give me that shit, the blood clone snapped at the original. You left us here to take care of everything, while you were enjoying yourself all over the N. Why am I not the one who is enjoying? You do realize that you are me, right? Naruto asked his blood clone with an amused expression on his face, which was mirrored by Taya and Tayuya. What I do realize, is that I didn't have a single day free to do what I want and have some fun. The blood clone said. And what do you want to do to have fun? The original asked, deciding to humor his clone. There was a complete silence after the question, for a full minute. The blood clone looked at his original with a contemplating look on his face, while the original Naruto, Taya and Tayuya were waiting for an answer. After a while, the blood clone said, I don't know, I would find something. The 3 people in the room gave him the glare, making the blood clone shrink into his chair. The original Naruto then decided to just get onto business, and said, I want you to create a blood clone and then release it. Naruto blood clone, Taya and Tayuya all looked at the original Naruto in confusion for a few moments, before the blood clone asked. Why? It would seem, that the shadow clones you create, only give the memories back to you, but not me, Naruto said, surprising the others. Earlier, I heard from Taya and Tayuya that you've been using shadow clones to help with the rebuilding, but in all the time I've been away, I haven't received a single memory from you, or from any of the other blood clones. Which makes me believe that their memories only go back to those who created them, regardless of the fact that I was the one who created you. But what makes you think that the blood clone he creates would give any memories to you? Taya asked. Actually, I'm not sure it will work, Naruto confessed. But I want to check it out first in order to know for the future. Why don't you just release me? The blood clone asked. That way, you will gain all the memories. I'm not going to release you, or any of the blood clones I've created so far. That was another shocking information revealed by the original Naruto. Why? Blood clone asked. You've been alive for 2 years now, Naruto said. By now, you have developed your own personality, considering how you acted earlier. You can barely be classified as me at this point and are more like a different person. The same goes for the other blood clones. Besides, I plan to leave you as the Azukage once the village is completely built. The blood clone, Taya and Tayuya gave the original shocked looks. And what are you going to do? Tayuya asked. I plan to go over all the EN, and once I'm done with them, I'm going to name myself the Emperor of what's left of the EN, while my blood clones will be daimyos, given parts of the empire to take care of, in order to make my job easier. You plan to conquer all the N? Tayuya questioned with disbelief in her voice. Taya's expression mirrored Tayuya's. Yes, Naruto said shortly. That was my plan almost from the time I came back here. At first I wanted to just kill everyone and be done with this hellhole, but then I decided to kill those who betrayed me and those who deserve to be killed. The rest will just be conquered, and will be happy about it. Trust me on that. No one said anything for a few minutes, until, the blood clone broke the silence by standing up from his chair, and then he bit his finger, performed hand seal, and then slammed his blood-covered hand on the floor. Another blood clone formed himself from the mix of blood and chakra, and stood in front of his creator. The first blood clone that proceeded without waiting a second, and dispelled the blood clone he created, spilling the blood he used to create it, on the floor. Once the second blood clone was dispelled, nothing happened to the first blood clone, but the original Naruto actually lowered his head downward, before he groaned in pain, and held his forehead with both of his hands. Damn, that hurt, she groaned out. I'm so glad I'm not normal human, because if I was, my brain would have melted from the information overload. So you did gain the memories? Tayuya asked. Yes, Naruto confirmed. I wonder why you gained the memories from the blood clone created by the blood clone, but not from the shadow clone created from the blood clone. Taya questioned. I'm not sure, the original Naruto said. It might have something to do with the fact that blood clones are closer to the original because they are made from both blood and chakra, while shadow clones are only made from chakra. Taya hummed. You might be right. It took the original Naruto 5 minutes to get over the brain pain, and then another 15 minutes to go over all the memories he gained from the blood clone. You really did a lot in the 2 years since I created you, Naruto commented, while looking at his blood clone. And I see that you have gotten really good at fuinjutsu. Yes, the blood clone said. I could have gone down there and tried to break the seal, but I thought it might be better to leave it to you, since you are the original. Naruto shrugged. It wouldn't matter to me, he said. You could have done it, I wouldn't care, but since you decided to wait, then let's head down there, and check it out. The others agreed, and all 4 of them left the office, heading toward the stairway, which lead to the second underground level. Team 7 of Konoha has just returned from their mission to seal Mirio for Konoha's own gain, and have just reported to Danzo that the mission was a failure. Explain. Danzo growled, not liking the fact that one of his better teams has failed the mission, and wants to know why. Well, Kakashi started. It was all going relatively well at first. We got the priestess, and were on the way to the land of swamps where Mirio's body was sealed. On the way we had to deal with some persistent enemies who were trying to revive Mirio, but we repelled them, couple of times, until we got close to where Mirio was sealed off. There, we ended up having to battle them again, along with the so-called Ghost Army. During the battle, Shion slipped away, and went to seal Mirio. It took us a while, as our enemies were strong, and there was many of those statues, but we were able to deal with them all. Unfortunately, by then, Shion has had a lot of time to seal Mirio. Danzo's growl interrupted Kakashi. So the demon has been sealed again, and now we can't get our hands on it, Danzo questioned. Is that what you are trying to tell me? Not exactly, Kakashi said, while sweat was rolling down his face. You see, when we dealt with the enemy, we went to find Shion, and stop her from using her sealing jutsu to seal Mario, and instead, use ours. We were just at the entrance, when we saw 3 people walking out from the chamber where Mario was. One of them was a guy with light blue hair, white pants and white jacket, which he wears unzipped. The other was a blue-haired woman wearing a full blue outfit and a blue hat. And the third was also a girl, though she was strange. We were unable to see her face, or her hairstyle and color, because she was wearing a full head mask, which was covering everything from the neck up, except her eyes, which were orange. The mask had 2 horns growing from it. As for her clothing, well, they were full white, and closely resembled to the ones the guy was wearing. She was carrying a sword, just like the guy, while the blue-haired girl didn't seem to have any weapon. We saw Shion on the back of that man, and we hurried over to see what happened and to find out who those 3 were. Kakashi stopped here, looking around the room, with a nervous look on his face. Well, Danzo pushed. Kakashi coughed once, before he decided to just get it over with, and hope that his powers and fame will stop Danzo from taking his head. We asked who they were and what happened, and the guy told us that Shion was unable to stop Mario, but that he was able to get rid of that demon for good. Kakashi heard gasps from the 2 elders in the room, and stopped for a moment. Danzo didn't show any emotions on his face, but deep down he was furious. Did you find out how he did it? Danzo asked. And did you make sure that he was telling the truth, and wasn't lying? I asked how he sealed away Mario, but he just smirked at me and asked, what makes me think that Mario was sealed away? Kakashi said, getting raised eyebrows from Danzo and the elders. He didn't say anything else about Mario after that. He did tell us his name, which he said is Grimjo Jagajakes, and that his companions' names were Juvia and Fu, with Juvia being the blue-haired girl, and Fu, the one with the mask. He refused to say anything else about them except the names, and even when we threatened them, all Grimjo did was laugh at us, and said that just because I'm such a famous ninja, and just because we have a Uchiha in our team, doesn't mean that we can defeat even one of them, let alone all of them. I did want to test that, of course, but in the end I dropped it, as they were an unknown, and we were all tired from dealing with those ninja and the ghost army. It also took me a while to calm Sasuke down, as he wanted to fight that guy, regardless of the fact he was already tired. Sasuke scowled. I'm an Uchiha elite, and that nobody insulted me by underestimating me, he said. You should have let me kill him. That would show him to never insult and underestimate an Uchiha. Danzo said nothing at Sasuke's words, and only glanced at him, before he looked at Sakura and Sai. He then said, you 3 leave. Kakashi, you are to stay here. We need to talk about those 3 and see if we can somehow use them to our gain. Sakura and Sai simply bowed, and left, while Sasuke wanted to argue, but in the end, he left as well when he saw Danzo and Kakashi give him the look. Once the 3 Chunin of Team 7 left, Danzo looked at Kakashi. I hope you have something else on those 3, Kakashi. Of course, he was referring to Grimjo, Juvia and Fu. Unfortunately, not much, Kakashi sighed. After they refused to reveal anything about themselves except the names, and since I decided not to start any fighting against them, there was nothing else I could do to find out anything. The only thing that happened after that, is that the priestess Shion decided to go back to the land of demon with them, while she told us that our job is done, and that the payment will be sent shortly. Does Shion know those 3? Koharu decided to ask. I don't think so, Kakashi said. Before they left, I did ask them why they were there in the first place, and Grimjo told me that he was there to deal with Mario. He said that saving the priestess was just a bonus. The priestess seemed to trust him though, so I didn't see any reason to push for accompanying him back to the land of demons, especially since I doubt that Sasuke would be able to keep himself in check and not start a battle, which I doubt he could win. Why do you think he couldn't win? Homura asked. He is an Uchiha, has a Sharingan, and is Jonin level ninja, even though he is only Chunin in rank. I trained Sasuke, so I know how powerful he is, Kakashi said. The problem is, that I have no idea how powerful Grimjo is, and I didn't want to risk Sasuke getting injured or worse, killed. Grimjo didn't say nor do anything challenging, but there was this feeling I got just by being in his presence. He was giving off bad vibes even when he has a smile on his face, which, by the way, was fake, though he is faking much better than Sai, I'll tell you that much. Danzo narrowed his eyes at Kakashi's words about Sai, as he knew that they were meant for him, since he is the one who trained Sai to be a emotionless tool, who now isn't even capable of faking emotions, let alone feel them. After that, Grimjo and his friends left with Shion, while we returned here. Kakashi finished his explanation of how the mission went and how it ended. Once Kakashi finished briefing, Danzo and the elders were thinking about what to do, and should they even do anything. It seems that in the recent years, there are many new and unknown people popping up all over the EN, and they all seem dangerous, Danzo thought in his head. I wonder where they are all coming from, and do they have some connection with each other, especially Alessandro Stark and Grimjo, since the uniforms they are wearing appear to be at least similar, if not exactly the same. XXX. Over the last few hours, Naruto, his blood clone and Tayuya have been going over every inch of the Fuinjutsu formula written on the wall, ceiling and the stairs of the underground stairway which leads to, well, somewhere, Naruto guesses to the vault, though he can't be sure. Tayuya has spent as much time learning Fuinjutsu as the blood clone Naruto, which is why she is now at the master level, just like the blood clone and just like the original Naruto became after he received the memories of his blood clone. Because of her new knowledge, Tayuya was able to help, and surprisingly, or maybe not, she was the one who found the clue which might allow him to break the seal. Look at this, Tayuya said, drawing the attention of two Narutos. The two of them approached to Tayuya, who at that moment was kneeling on the stairs and looking at something at the corner of one of the stairs, at the exact place where stairs are connecting to the wall. What is it? The original Naruto asked. This formula here, Tayuya said, pointing at the formula which goes across the stair and the wall. It looks wrong. Don't you think so? The two Narutos looked at the formula for a few minutes, before they saw the same thing Tayuya was seeing. How in the hell did you see that? The original asked. The only thing wrong with that thing is that one squiggle is out of place. Tayuya smirked. Yay, well, that one squiggle is what's keeping this barrier in check, she smirked. I think that if we correct this, then the barrier will come down. Are you sure it's that easy? Blood Clone asked. This whole formula was made by Fuinjutsu Grandmasters, and I doubt that the only thing necessary to break the barrier is to fix the seal. And how is the barrier even working with an error in the formula? I think that this error in the formula was left like this because it's so hard to find it, Tayuya said. You don't just need to be at least master in Fuinjutsu, but you also need to check every line and squiggle of the formula to find out how it works. All three of us are masters and it took us hours to find this, and even then, I found it by accident. I don't think anyone else would have found this, unless they decide to camp here for a long time. As for how it's working if it's damaged, well that, I don't know, Tayuya admitted. If I have to guess, there is probably another formula under this one, and when a royal Uzumaki gives his blood and chakra to the wall in order to activate the barrier, the only barrier it activates is this one. We fix this one, and the other one will probably come down. This is some seriously high-level Fuinjutsu, Blood Clone commented while shaking his head. Let's check it out, then. The original Naruto said, and then moved in front of Tayuya and the Blood Clone. It took him less than a minute to erase the wrong squiggle with his chakra and then draw a new, correct one. The moment the formula was corrected, the formula started to glow with blinding light, which made both Naruto and Tayuya shield their eyes, because of how blinding the light it. The flash of light went for a full minute, during which, all three present, were able to hear some breaking and then rumbling. After a minute, the noise stopped and then the light vanished, allowing Tayuya and the two Naruto to remove their hands from their eyes and see what happened. Once they opened their eyes, they saw that everything around them is still covered in the Fuinjutsu formula, but this one is different than the one they spent hours researching. On top of that, the wall which was at the bottom of the stairs is now gone, revealing a dark passageway. Would you look at that? Naruto said with a smirk on his face. It worked. Great job, Tayuya. Without you, I wouldn't be able to open this passageway. Tayuya blushed at the praise Naruto gave her, then blushed even more because of the smile he gave her. Damn, that smile is sexy. Tayuya thought in her head. Tayuya followed after the two Narutos as they walked through the entrance to the passageway, which was actually still going downward, as the stairs continued to go further underground after the wall was removed. For 5 more minutes, the three of them have been going down the stairs, until they arrived in a circled chamber, with 8 possible paths to choose in order to continue. This is ridiculous, Tayuya said. What could they have been keeping here to need this much protection? She wondered out loud. I don't know, the real Naruto said. But I doubt that it's just money, files or something simple but valuable stuff. There must be something immeasurably valuable down here that would make Uzumaki clan go to such lengths to protect it. What now? Tayuya asked. Do we split up, or what? The real Naruto shook his head. There is no need, he said. I can sense with my pesquisa what's in all those passageways and where they lead. Only the second from the right has some feel coming from it. All the others feel dead. I would guess that all of them are covered in fuinjutsu barriers which would trap anyone caught in them forever, unless they are lucky to be able to break the barriers and come out. I don't understand why, though, Tayuya said. If you were right, and the blood of the royal Uzumaki was needed to activate that first barrier, then why more protection and barriers? Naruto shrugged. Maybe they thought that someone might come here with a royal Uzumaki as a hostage to use their blood and chakra, Naruto suggested. This way, they made sure that there are more protections, just in case. Tayuya groaned. Second on the right, you said. She questioned, and after Naruto nodded, she walked through the passageway Naruto said, while Naruto and his blood clone followed. As the three were walking down the corridor, Tayuya asked. If you could sense the right path, then what's to stop any other sensory ninja from doing the same? Naruto hummed. That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to it. Well, there is probably something which would prevent just about anyone from sensing the right path, the blood clone said. In fact, many probably wouldn't even think about trying to sense for the right path. You might be right, Tayuya agreed. I didn't think of that, so others might not think about it either. A minute later, while walking through the path, with the blood clone going first, the real Naruto second, and Tayuya just behind him, Tayuya suddenly slammed into something in front of her, and fell backwards on her bum. Ouch, she yelled, while rubbing her face, and drawing the attention of the two Narutos, who turned back to see what happened. What the hell was that? Real Naruto walked to Tayuya, and held his hand to her, which she took and got up. What happened? Naruto asked. I don't know, Tayuya said. It felt like I slammed into a wall. Naruto looked behind himself, and saw nothing. He went ahead, and still nothing happened. There is nothing here, Tayuya. I'm telling you, Tayuya said, while walking forward, but this time, she held her hands in front of her to see if she can touch whatever has blocked her. There is someth. Before she could finish saying, her hands touched something in front of her, and she couldn't go further. Here it is, she shouted. There is a barrier here, and it prevents me from going forward. Well, this is interesting, Naruto said, as he was trying to touch the same thing that Tayuya is, but couldn't do it. The same goes for the blood clone. I guess this is the answer to that question of yours from earlier. What question? Tayuya asked. You asked what's stopping others from sensing the right path, Naruto said. Well, the answer is, nothing. Seeing a confused look on Tayuya's face, Naruto explained. Nothing prevents them from using their sensory skills to sense the right path, but it seems that there is a barrier which prevents certain people from passing through. If I had to guess, only a member of the royal Uzumaki line could pass through the barrier, and everyone else would be stopped. Is that so? Tayuya questioned. But what would happen if someone was to try and break the barrier? I doubt it would work, Naruto said. The barrier is probably strong enough to stop anything. On top of that, I doubt that anyone is stupid enough to try anything too destructive here, considering that we are hundreds of meters below the ground. I don't know if the walls surrounding this place are reinforced and protected, so I doubt that anyone else would know, and no one would risk getting buried alive. Tayuya sighed. So what now? She asked. Now, you will stay here, since you can't pass, Naruto said. My blood clone and I will continue, and see what's down there. I doubt that there are more barriers down there, or anything to stop us from reaching the goal, but I don't know how long it will take us to see what's in the vault. It might take a while, so you better get comfortable if you are going to wait here. Damn it, Tayuya shouted. I really wanted to see what's inside of that vault. Since it requires this much protection, it must be something really valuable. We'll see if there is some way to allow others to enter inside of the vault while we're there, Naruto said. If we find something, then I'll take you there, if not, well, then I'll just tell you what's inside. You okay with that? Tayuya scoffed. It's not like I have other choice. The two Narutos nodded at Tayuya, before they continued down the corridor, while Tayuya sighed, and sat down on the floor, leaning on the wall. 10 seconds later, Tayuya cursed. Fuck. I'm already bored. Naruto and his blood clone traveled down the underground path, for a few more minutes, after they left Tayuya behind. Once they reached the end of the path, they found themselves in front of a very large, black and gold-colored, double doors. Now what? The real Naruto wondered while looking at the door. There was nothing special about the door at first sight, except the fact that they were very big and that there is no door handle. Parts of the door were made out of gold, but the black stuff, Naruto doesn't know what that is, though he doesn't think that it's anything special, and that it's probably just some black metal, which the Uzumaki used to make the door. Maybe there is another barrier on that door, the blood clone said. So we should be careful. I agree. Naruto agreed with his clone, and started to closely inspect the door, trying to see if there is something written or engraved on them. After 5 minutes of looking, neither Naruto found anything. Maybe it will activate with blood and chakra, just like that first seal, blood clone suggested. Maybe, the real one said, before he bit his finger, and then placed the hand on the door. Right away, he sent some chakra into the door, hoping that something will happen. Nothing did. Naruto kept sending chakra to the door, for about half a minute, and still nothing happened. I guess this isn't it, Naruto commented to his blood clone, and then tried to remove his hand from the door, but when he tried, he realized that he can't do it, as it seems that his hand is almost glued to the door. Well, this is interesting, he said. The door seems to be sucking my chakra and doesn't want to let go of me. I wonder if this has a purpose, or is this just another defensive mechanism, which is made to drain chakra from anyone who does this? Most likely another defensive mechanism, the blood clone said. The real one hummed. Let's wait and see for a few more minutes. After that, if it still keeps absorbing my chakra, I'll just blow the whole thing up. Are you sure you should do that? The blood clone asked. We don't know what's in there, and we don't know how protected this whole structure is. It might cave in on us. Well, it's not like I'll have another choice, Naruto said. I can't stay here until this thing drains me of all of my chakra. It will take forever. Actually, the blood clone suddenly said, getting the attention of the real Naruto. This thing might actually have a limit at how much it can absorb. If it gets overloaded, it might collapse. Naruto hummed again. You might be right. Well then, let's try it out. Naruto then sent even more of his chakra, much faster than the door was absorbing so far, hoping to overload the thing and collapse it. It took several more minutes, and an amount of chakra which Naruto is sure is higher than even Kyuubi has, to finally make the whole door glow with red color. Another minute later, the glowing intensified, before both Naruto saw the cracks start to appear all over the door and the surrounding wall. Less than a minute later, the door burst into pieces, leaving behind a big opening for two Narutos to enter into, what the two of them think is the vault of the Whirlpool country. Well, that certainly was a lot of chakra that I had to sacrifice, Naruto said. It was about 50% more chakra than complete Kyuubi. If someone else tried to open the door the same way you did, they would have died. The blood clone said. I agree, Naruto said. It does make me wonder, how was anyone supposed to enter into the vault in the first place? The blood clone looked around for a moment before he said. There must have been something we've missed. I guess, Naruto said. Let's go inside. I can't wait to see what's so important inside of the vault, to require so much protection. The two passed through the broken entrance, and entered inside of a very large chamber, which was filled with shelves upon shelves on which there were thousands upon thousands of books and scrolls. One part of the vault was filled with shelves which only hold weapons, of every kind imaginable, while another part of the vault was filled with gold bars, iron and steel ingots, chakra metal ingots from which chakra conductive weapons are made. All in all, there is a little bit of everything inside of the Whirlpool's vault. Damn, the blood clone said. I was expecting a lot after all those protections, but I did not expect all of this. Naruto, unlike his blood clone, wasn't as enthusiastic, which is something the blood clone noticed very quickly. What up? The blood clone asked, as he saw his creator look around with narrowed eyes. Do you feel that? Naruto asked. The blood clone then used his pesquisser and tried to feel for whatever his real self was feeling. A moment later, he felt something. It feels like other human, a lot of them, the blood clone said. But there is something wrong with the way they feel. Yes, Naruto said. They feel alive, but at the same time, they aren't. It's almost as if they are in a coma, and yet again, not exactly the same. Let's check it out, Blood Clone said. Whatever it is, it must be the reason for all those protections, as I doubt that the Uzumakis would go to such lengths to protect jutsu scrolls, weapons and other valuable objects. The two Narutos walked toward the far end of the vault, and soon found themselves in front of a wall, with the Uzumaki clan crest on it. There was a small opening at the exact middle of the crest, just wide enough to put a hand through. Do you think it's another trap? Naruto asked his blood clone. I'm sure it is, the blood clone said. Oh well, Naruto said as he pushed his right hand through the opening to see what would happen. Only one way to find out for sure. Naruto pushed his hand inside of the slot almost up to his elbow, when suddenly, there was a snap of some kind, and then blood started flowing from the slot and down to the wall. Naruto pulled his arm back, but what came out was a stump of what used to be his whole arm. Naruto looked as calm as ever. It's as if he didn't just had half of his arm chopped off by a wall. He looked at his blood clone, who looked back at him. Both had raised eyebrows. I suddenly got the feeling that no one was ever supposed to enter into that room and find whatever is inside. Blood clone nodded, and then watched as Naruto's arm regrow back just as how it was before it was chopped off. So, how do we get inside? Blood clone asked. I have no idea, Naruto replied. He was completely lost. He cannot comprehend the fact that his clan would go to such lengths to guard anything. He was busting his mind, trying to come up with any sort of explanation to this, and to think of anything that would be worth putting this much life-threatening protection on. After 5 minutes of just standing there in front of the wall, Naruto said, "Let's check out the scrolls in the vault. Maybe we will find some explanation for this." XXX. Naruto and his blood clone spent the next few hours going over as much stuff in the vault as they could. Yes, they could have gone through everything, but they didn't want to leave Tayuya waiting in that hallway forever, so after about 4 hours, the two Narutos exited the vault, leaving the entrance door broken, as they didn't have any way to repair it, but considering the fact that the two of them are the only ones in the world who could get to that door, there is really no need to repair them. Before they exited, Naruto picked up one particular scroll and took it with him. It was a very big scroll, and the reason Naruto took it with him is because he thinks that this scroll will help him get through that wall back in the vault. Few minutes later, the two Narutos walked in front of Tayuya, who seemed to have dozed off, while waiting for them. Finally, Tayuya exclaimed after Naruto woke her up. I almost thought that you will stay there forever. Well, we certainly could have stayed longer, Naruto said. But we returned so that you won't have to wait us any longer. We will return again later. Fine, Tayuya said. Will you now tell me, what did you find in the vault? And what's up with that scroll? It reminds me of a summoning scroll. This is a summoning scroll, Naruto said, much to Tayuya's shock. This is a summoning contract for the Uzumaki clan, summoning beasts. Wow, Tayuya said. I've only heard stories of those things from the other Uzumaki, but even they considered them a myth, as none of them ever actually saw the beasts being summoned. Trust me, Naruto said. They are real. Are you planning to summon them? Tayuya asked. Yes, Naruto confirmed. I have to ask them about something we found in the vault, but couldn't get to because of the protections. I have a feeling that they will know about what's inside of that secret room. By this point, the three of them have arrived back at the stairs under the former Azuki's tower, and were climbing back up. What kind of protection is it? Tayuya asked. Naruto then went and explained everything that happened since they parted ways, and about everything the two of them found in the vault. You're kidding me, Tayuya exclaimed while looking toward Naruto's arm. Your arm got chopped off. But it's right there. Naruto looked at Tayuya with confusion on his face. High-speed regeneration, he said. Did you forget about that? Oh, right. Tayuya blushed in embarrassment, as she remembered about that particular power. Then again, she never had to use it, so no one can blame her for forgetting. When do you plan to summon them? She asked. And where? If you do it in the village, they will undoubtedly be seen. I'll go outside of the village and summon them, Naruto said. While I do that, the two of you wait for me in the meeting room, as I want to talk about how to proceed from here on out with the construction as well as with the takeover of other countries. Naruto's blood clone and Tayuya nodded, and a minute later, they exited from the stairs to the second underground level, and then split up, with the blood clone and Tayuya going to the meeting room, while Naruto went outside, and then left the boundaries of the village and walked toward the other side of the island, so that he can be as far away from the village as possible, once he summons the Uzumaki clan's personal summons. XXX. Unlike how he usually walks slowly wherever he goes, this time, Naruto used Sonido to get to the other side of the island. Once he was at the beach, Naruto let the summoning contract on the ground, and then opened it. He saw the names of many Uzumaki on the contract from the first to the last, and they were all crossed out, indicating that they are all dead. Naruto saw the last name on the contract was Uzumaki-kun, and wondered who he was. Naruto wondered if he was the last Uzukage, or was he some other member of the Uzumaki family, or maybe even the member of the royal line, which would make him Naruto's close relative. Naruto decided to just go on and sign his name on the contract and perform the summoning jutsu. He was glad that at this point in time, he has no summoning contract, since his with the Toads has become void at the moment of his death. He wondered how the Toads truly felt about him, and how they would react once they find out that he is alive, and has went and signed another summoning contract. Naruto decided to think about that some other time, so he went and put his thumb on his right hand, and then signed his true name in blood. Once the name was signed, Naruto rolled back the summoning scroll, and put it aside, before he performed the hand seals for the summoning jutsu. Summoning jutsu. Naruto yelled out as he slammed his right palm on the sand. Immediately as he shouted the jutsu, there was a giant puff of smoke which covered Naruto and hundreds of meters of the surrounding area. What came out of the smoke was a roar of a beast which was undoubtedly heard, if not in the whole N, then in majority of them. The roar was powerful enough to send sound waves, which blew away the smoke, revealing to Naruto what he has summoned. Naruto looked at the gigantic, western dragon, with 4 wings. The dragon was red and beige in color, has a long neck, with spikes on his head, glowing, yellow eyes, and a big horn where the nose should be. Great red. High shoal DXD. The dragon looked downward to the beach, in order to see who has summoned it, only to see Naruto standing there and looking at him with narrowed eyes. The stare down went for several minutes, with neither side saying anything. The silence was finally broken by the dragon. Who are you? The dragon asked in a deep, booming voice. Better said, what are you? And how did you manage to summon me, of all dragons? A smile appeared on Naruto's face for a moment, before he started to laugh. Soon, the small laugh turned into a full-blown laughter, with Naruto holding his stomach from how much he was laughing. This made the dragon mad, as no one has ever laughed in its presence without him allowing them, no matter who they are and how powerful they are. Stop laughing and tell me, who the fuck are you? The dragon roared with all his might, shaking the entire island, even casing ripples on the sea. Naruto finally managed to stop his laughing and looked at the dragon with some tears in his eyes. That's how much he was laughing. Sorry, Naruto said, but seeing you and feeling your power level, I just couldn't help but laugh. Are you mocking me? The dragon roared again. I should have your head for that. You misunderstood, Naruto said. I'm laughing because I never thought that this world would have someone who is almost as powerful as I am. Dragon gained a surprised look on his face when he heard Naruto's words. Not only because Naruto said that he is stronger than the dragon, but because he said, this world, indicating that he might not be from this world. In a way, that might explain to the dragon as to why he doesn't feel any power coming from Naruto. The only explanation would be that the guy is transcendental being, just like he is, though on a level above. Who are you? The dragon asked. Oh, I didn't introduce myself, didn't I? Naruto said, before he bowed low, and said. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. It's a pleasure to meet you. The dragon looked at Naruto in shock when he heard the name. Uzumaki. The dragon questioned and Naruto nodded. Well then, that might explain how you summoned a dragon, as the Uzumaki clan had our summoning contract, but that doesn't explain how you were able to summon me, and not some other dragon. It also doesn't explain how you got your hands on the summoning contract in the first place, considering that fact that it was very well guarded. Naruto shrugged at the first question. I decided to put a lot of chakra behind the summoning jutsu, hoping that I would be able to summon the boss of the dragon clan, Naruto said. Judging by your power level, I was successful. The dragon nodded, before Naruto continued. As for how I found the contract, well, I found it in the Whirlpool's country's vault. What? The dragon stuttered. You were able to get all the way into the vault, even with all the protections in has. Yep. Naruto said. Of course, it wasn't easy. I found that place over 2 years ago, and I was able to enter only today. It took me that long to learn Fuinjutsu and reach master level in order to break that first barrier, and even then, it took 3 of us and several hours of work. The other protections, while they would have stopped everyone else, they wouldn't stop me, since I'm from the royal line. I see, the dragon said. He was really surprised that there was a member of the royal line still alive, as he thought that all but one have died in the war, and the one who was still alive, well, she wouldn't have been able to summon him or any other dragon for at least another 20 years. I'm the Great Red, the dragon introduced himself. I'm the boss summon of the dragon clan, and the one true dragon god. As I said, it's a pleasure to meet you, Naruto said with a smile. You said that you specifically wanted to summon the boss of the dragon clan, the Great Red stated, and Naruto nodded. Why? I found a secret chamber in the vault, Naruto said, and instantly noticed a sweat appear on Dragon's face, which made him know that the dragon knows what's behind that wall, and whatever it is enough to make even someone like him sweat. But I was unable to enter. Yes, I could have simply destroyed the wall, but I didn't want to risk damaging whatever is inside. As such, I looked around the vault, hoping to find some clue as to how to enter into the chamber. I found the summoning contract, and decided to sign it and ask you, if you know anything. I guess that it's pointless to ask you now though, since the expression on your face has already confirmed to me that you know what's inside there. The Great Red was quiet for a while, as he was thinking about what to do and what to say to Naruto. He knew that at this point, Naruto is the leader of the Uzumaki clan, and one of probably only few remaining alive, which means, as his summoning, the Great Red is bound to not lie to his summoner. The same goes for the other dragons. The problem is, that he and his clan have promised to their last summoner, Kuin, and his wife, Mila, that they will not reveal to anyone about the contents of that room. The fact that the room was sealed away with no way to enter, and the fact that the dragons have only been Uzumaki's summons, was supposed to have made the job easy, as no one would be able to get to the dragons in the first place, and even if they did, no one knew about the room, so there would be no point in asking about it. Then came Naruto, who as a Fuinjutsu master and a royal Uzumaki, was able to get to the entrance of the vault. From there was a barrier at the door, which no normal person would be able to pass through, as it would require to overload the seal with chakra, and the amount of chakra necessary is higher than even Kyuubi has, which means that no one should be able to enter into the vault. Even knowing that, Kuin and Mila have left one more protection on the secret chamber, just in case. They knew that what's inside of that room would bring back the Uzumaki clan in 50 years' time, and as such, they didn't want anyone to ever find that room, until the seal is released. But Naruto was able to overload the seal on the vault door, and entered inside. He even found the secret chamber, and is now interested in knowing what's inside. The Great Red looked at Naruto, and noticed that he has both arms, which made him wondering if Naruto even pushed his arm into the slot, or if he just looked over the door for any seal, and after he didn't find anything, he decided to search for clues on other places, instead of risking with the slot. Why are you so interested in that chamber? The Great Red asked. Naruto thought about it for a minute, before he shrugged. I don't know, he said. I guess I just want to know what's inside. You can't blame me for being interested, especially since I was able to sense inside of the room, to a small degree. The Great Red's eyes widened when Naruto said he was able to sense into the room, as that should be impossible. It also made him wonder if Naruto suspects about what's inside of the room, and wants him to confirm it. And what do you think it's inside? The Great Red asked. Naruto smirked. You're just fishing, Naruto said. You want me to tell you what I know, so that then, you would only tell me what you want me to know. Uzumaki Naruto, the dragon spoke. You need to understand that, what's inside of that room, is the future of the Uzumaki clan. It's what will allow them to return, one day. Uzumaki clan is already returning, Naruto said, making the curious. I've already started the rebuilding of the village 2 years ago, and have found some Uzumaki who were descendants of those who survived the war. So, if whatever is inside of that room can help in bringing back more Uzumaki, then you need to tell me, as there is no reason to wait. The Great Red went quiet after that, and was quiet for a while. He was thinking about what to do. Is he going to trust Naruto, or is he going to refuse to tell him what's inside of that chamber, and simply leave? Then again, he doesn't know to what lengths Naruto would go to find out what's in that chamber, and he can't risk him causing damage, as that would be potentially catastrophic. First, tell me about yourself, the Great Red said, making Naruto raise his eyebrows. How are you a member of the royal line of the Uzumaki, when all of them have died in the war, and you don't look old enough to be over 30 years old? What are you, exactly? You are not normal human, I can tell that much, but I can't tell what you are. Tell me about yourself, and if I deem you worthy, I'll tell you about the creation of the chamber and what's inside. Naruto looked at the dragon for a few moments, before he sighed, and said, I'm a member of the royal line from my mother's side. She survived the war, because she wasn't in the village during the attack. She was sent to Konoha sometime before the attack. The dragon's eyes widened at this, as he didn't know it. Neither Kuin nor Mila have mentioned anything about the royal Uzumaki being sent to Konoha. Why was she sent there? The Great Red asked. She was sent to become Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Naruto said, much to the dragon's shock. She was to have Kyuubi sealed inside of her since Mito Uzumaki was close to her end, and only Uzumaki can hold Kyuubi. When the land of whirlpools was destroyed, my mother was in Konoha, and has stayed there until almost 16 years ago, when she died, on the same night I was born. My mother's name was Kushina Uzumaki, the second Jinchuriki of Kyuubi, and I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the former, third Jinchuriki of Kyuubi. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.